Openness and flexibility are virtues which make leaders. But as time goes by, these virtues become lesser and the leaders lose their leadership positions. But there are some leaders who keep up these virtues as and when they grow in the organizations. Today, as part of leadership series by Global TV, we have one such leader whose openness and flexibility has grown as he has grown in the organizations. Dr. Mukesh Sharma, welcome to our discussion on leadership series in Global TV.
Thank you, Mr. Tom. Thank you so much for inviting.
Dr. Mukesh Sharma is an author, he's a storyteller, he's a film director, he's also a YouTuber, and he's a leader. He is currently the Dean of School of Branding and Advertisement, NMIMS University. He was Additional Director General, Prasar Bharati and Doordarshan, Director General of Films Division of India, Director of 14th Mumbai International Film Festival, Director of Doordarshan Kendra, Mumbai. He was producer in charge of Children's Film Society of India. And these are just some of the positions Dr. Sharma has occupied in his illustrious career. He has won many awards. Notable amongst them, the Best Documentary by Films Division, he won the President's Award. He also won the President's Award for Best Children's Feature Film. He has more than 10 national and international awards to his credit. He is a leader with creativity. Dr. Sharma, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for that beautiful intro. Thank you, Tom. Tell me.
Dr. Sharma, I just wanted to check with you. So, many leaders get their leadership skills and develop it from an early age. Did you have any leadership? You could show some leadership when you was at an early age, or you developed as you came up in your career?
Father was in a government transferable job. So we were not positioned at one place where I could try and show my skill. The moment I was just trying to come out and showing my colors, true colors, we were shifted. So I think I was more of a dark horse because my family and everyone told me that you won't be able to do anything and you are more of an actor and you have got nothing and usual. And because my elder brother was a first class first, my sister was a first class first in the university and topping Agra University and Lucknow universities. So I was never in academics. I was not all that. I started a little late, but then as you say, the dark horse always runs and later on, and then touch wood, God has been very kind. It was not looking back for me. So I would say that it was both. Yes, I had chance to show, but I couldn't show much because, as I said, there were various reasons, family background and other factors, nothing to show much. But the moment I was independent, because I came to Mumbai in the year 1980, and the interesting thing is, Tom, my selection was in the Children's Film Society, which happens to be the autonomous body under the Ministry of Information Broadcasting, was itself something which was, sometimes I feel that it was maybe destined, or the gods had put things in such a fashion that I was supposed to be there at the right time, at the right place.
Whether you show your leadership skills at an early age or not, it comes to you if you have a natural leadership talent. Yes. And you can build it up. And the message for our listeners is that nothing to worry. You can show your leadership at any point as you build up in your career, provided you have the right attitude towards it.
Yes.
So when you get an opportunity, you go for it.
Yes.
It was a good opportunity you got in the Children's Film Society.
Children's Film Society, yeah.
So did your style evolve around that? You can tell us the story about the Children's Film Society. So your leadership style would have evolved around when you're working in the Children's Film Society?
Well, no, what has happened was just before that, television was coming up in India. And television stations were coming up. The first television station came in Delhi in sometime in the 50s. And the second one, I think, in Jalandhar, because of the proximity of Pakistan, because they were also showing a good program. So we also wanted that a footprint should be on the other part of that world. So we were all happening, and then it came in Lucknow. So my first, I would say, understanding of media or understanding of things vis-a-vis communication was television. And you will not believe they were looking for someone who could read sort of a news, every special type of news every Sunday. And at that time, there used to be a movie on Sunday in India,
Yes,
and
yes.
people would, religiously wait and watch, sit down in the front of the television sets. And in between, this news was supposed to be read as a part of government thing. And they were looking for a new face. And as luck would have it, I got a chance. And then I realized the next day when I was walking in the city of Lucknow, and everyone said, "Hey, guy, we've seen him. Hey, he is this, he's Sharma, he's Verma." And that's how I realized the power of television and the power of media. And then I said, I must try and work here and do something. But there was no such opening as it is. It was at that time. And it so happened by chance, luck would have it, I was just trying to, because I did my bachelor of science with chemistry, botany, and zoology. And for me, either I should have been a doctor or I should have gone into a service which is Indian Forest Service or civil service of the state government or forest department. And I was preparing for that, and I was selected. Actually, written competition. My interview was to be held, and suddenly I found a post which came up in Children's Film Society of production officer. One post, entire country, and there were three things required for that post. One, you should be a graduate, which I was. Second, your age should be 25 to 45 between, but I was 24. And third, you should have a diploma or something related to film. Now, I had except for graduation, nothing else, but I tried and I wrote a letter. And at that time, the Doyen of Indian cinema, Dr. V. Shantaram, who has given so much to the Indian cinema, a lot of people will know about it. People can Google and find out about Dr. V. Shantaram. He was the chairman of the Children's Film Society. And I remember he had given his views, my aims and ambition, children's cinema. At that time, there used to be a magazine known as Illustrated Weekly of India, from the
Yes,
Times of
yes.
India group.
Yes,
And the editor at that time was M.V. Kamath. Now, Tom,
yeah.
surprisingly, see, the destiny outplays its role, that M.V. Kamath was supposed to meet me after about, say, 25 years and become a father figure for me. That's another story which I'll tell you how, and it's very emotional, in fact, that part. But anyway, M.V. Kamath wrote that article as an editor, and I read that article. So when I read it, I was actually talking Shantaram. Now, this was my preparation for the interview, nothing else. Now, I'm using all my skills, my brain. Nobody's helping me, guiding me in this factor, and I'm in a small town. Please understand. I have to come to
Right.
Mumbai. I've never seen this city in my life. Never, except that my brother was here. He had just been posted here in the bank. So that's the thing. Because of that, I thought I can come to the city. Now, I wrote a letter to Dr. Shantaram saying that no doubt I am this age. But at that time, if you remember, Sanjay Gandhi, Mrs. Indira Gandhi's son, was making a lot of hue and cry in the country. And he was very young. So I said, see, young is something which is why you want to stop. Because of that, I'm young. Why don't you just call me? And just it's a 1 year difference. So believe me, whatever little English I knew and whatever I could understand, I wrote in my own way and said that if you even film, I said I have an experience of television because I was reading news and doing some odd jobs.
Yes.
And I said I'm a graduate. I said, but call me. I'm not asking you for any money to be for traveling allowance. I'm not asking you to put me somewhere and stay. I will come on my own, and I will just face the interview, and that's it. Just at least call me. And as luck would have it, see, Mr. Shantaram was looking for a young guy, and he was looking for somebody like me, maybe in his mind. So to cut the long story short, I was invited. I was called. Now I was all set. Now at that time, the train service from Lucknow to Mumbai, it leaves at 10 o'clock, and next day, about 36 hours, it would reach Mumbai into 4 o'clock. And
Yes.
as luck would have it, my sister started, cajoling and crying and saying that you will go, brother has gone, so nobody, I'll be left alone and this and that. I said, look, I'm not going to be selected. I don't even qualify. Why are you worried? I'll just go and take a trip to Mumbai and come back. But in all this hue and cry, sir, I missed the train.
Oh my God.
So it's like leaving on a Saturday, reaching on Sunday, and Monday is the interview. So Saturday train gone, so I cannot reach. Now I've been worried. So father said during the course of the day, maybe better sense prevailed. So she said, okay, you go, but even if you're selected, you will not join. I said, no, I'll not join. I promised this and that. And I did everything as usual, like a brother. And by evening, my father said, you take the Lucknow mail and go to Delhi. So we went to Delhi, and Delhi next day, I could get a train which reaches in 24 hours, Monday morning. An interview was somewhere like 9 o'clock. So it was cutting it very fine. But all said and done, my father was not something on a very high post. He was, a simple, I would say, class 2 officer. But he gave me 800 rupees, I still remember. Airfare
It was big
from
amount.
Lucknow, from Delhi to Mumbai. Just in case you miss it, then you take the flight. And a man who has a salary of about 1,200 rupees or something, and out of that 800, you give me how the house going to run. There was no savings and all that at that time, like this, what we are thinking now. Anyway, I just took that money, but I took a risk. As my train was entering from Lucknow to Delhi in the morning in the yards, the another train was coming out from Delhi to Mumbai, and I jumped the tracks, which was something nobody would think of it, and I jumped and I caught the train. And immediately the TT, the ticket collector, came to me and he just gave me a slap on my face. I was looking very. He said, "You're going to die. What are you doing?" I said, "Look, I'm a student and this and that. I just try to work out." I said, "Look, I don't have I have an interview and this is important to catch. So I'm sorry, I really made a mistake and I will see to have noted." Anyway, he gave it to me and I reached next day somehow and it was pouring in Mumbai. I have never seen so much of torrential rain and I thought that the city is going to be drowned completely. But then somebody said, "Don't worry, it is near the
It's
seaside and
normal.
this happens." Yeah, it's okay. So I went there and I reached my brother's place. He was all worried what happened. I said, "I'll tell you the story right now. Let me reach the place." And I went there for the interview. Now Mr. Shantaram himself sitting and there were other people. And when I saw him, the moment I entered, they said, "Mr. Mukesh Sharma." I said, "Yeah, I'm here." And I entered. And immediately he started talking. And I was just trying to bring him somehow to his thoughts and his ideas about children's cinema, about how to how to make children films, how to produce them, how to do what all stories we should see, and what all he has said. I was talking about it. So he was just saying yes, yes, yes. And finally, I think in 10 minutes, he said, "Okay, I've got my candidate." So the other people who were sitting there, ministry people, he said, "Sir, but we need to, no, we don't want to interview. He's good." And I was number two. And I was actually pinching myself. I said, "This is something, you can't imagine like this." Then he said, "I'll give you 1,500 rupees." I said, "Yes, sir. Okay. You have a place to stay?" I said, "Yes, sir. I've got, can you work from tomorrow?" I said, "Yes, sir." See, he has ordered nothing. So why should I? And he just stood up and everyone was looking. And I said, "Tomorrow you come to Rajkamal Studios and you are there. And I want Sharma." He used to call me Sharma. "I want Sharma, you to work very hard. Okay. I've taken you with all these people, though they are not reputable, but I want you to work." It was all, I don't know, destined, the plan, but that was the first opening when I met him. And sir, after that, once I got that opening, sir, I never, let that chance. Then I worked 18 hours, 19 hours, 20 hours, and sometimes it was, beyond the call of my duty. I was doing it. And that's where I could learn so many things. And that's where I could build up my stamina, my caliber, I would say my style of functioning, so many things that I could then realize, yes, I can be a good leader now. And I can, but the human angle I never lost out during my entire thing.
So it shows that when we get an opportunity, we must
Yes.
jump for it and work hard to
Yes.
achieve
I'm
what we
sure.
need
Yes.
to do,
Yes.
what we need to do.
Yes.
I would like to ask you one question. Like, is there any person who has actually changed your outlook on leadership?
See what happened. I learned from Shantaramji, and then I had a chance to work with not one but three, four doyens in the cinema, like Jaya Bachchan, Shabana Azmi. I had worked Amol Palekar. Now, these were the people who were the chairman of the society, and since society was a small affair, it has a one production and one lady and two cameramen, and others people we would hire on contract. So there was no regular staff, but the access to the chairman and all was immediate. So it was like one to one. So there was a great learning, of course, from there. The chair never made me, it never went into my head, I would say that. Once I completed my Children's Film Society's tenure, I said I should now come out because I have become too fat in this well. And then it so happened that I got selected through UPSC, Union Public Service Commission.
Okay.
There was a service known as IBS, like IAS and IPS, Indian Broadcasting Service. And
Okay.
for people, they were selected for radio and television.
Right.
So I got selected for television, 5 to 6 people only in a merit list. And then I joined television as it is. But at the same time, see, destiny was taking me to Saudi Arab because I was also selected in Jewel or some places there as a video chief for some at that time. They were paying me 4,500 Riyal and a company house and education, everything. But somehow destiny gave me this also, so I jumped here.
I chose
Because
here.
Children's Film
Okay.
Society's tenure was mostly on 3 years contract. So I was looking for a permanent thing and try to work it out. Anyway, so this I did it, and then I was in Doordarshan. Now during my course of Doordarshan, I had a chance when Prasar Bharati came. I had a chance to work with one gentleman known as M.V. Kamath. The same M.V. Kamath who was the editor of Illustrated Weekly of India and was a Times of India's correspondent in Washington.
Yes.
That old man was 85 plus, and I was say 40, around 40, 45 years old. And at immediate first instant, he had a liking, and I always thought him as a father figure. Not all, everything was going fine, but one of the things which I still remember, and I can cry if I go into that, delve into the entire episode. He called me. He used to stay in Manipal. Manipal
Okay.
is in the south, And there was big medical college and education institution, Manipal, of PIES there.
Yes.
And he then invited me for a seminar or something. I said, sir, I'll come there. So I was supposed to travel from Lucknow, from Mumbai to Mangalore, and from Mangalore the car would come and take me. This is when I was in Doordarshan, and he was the chairman. Now see, and I was suddenly having a severe headache during the flight. I don't know why. Severe headache and vomiting, and either my BP was high, as it is just now you mentioned that I worked in so many departments. Yes, I was carrying the load of all these departments, and since there was a commitment, Kamal Saab had called me. So I said, I'll go there. And by the time I reached, I came out of the airport, I was actually, quite unwell. And here I see this old man standing, the chairman of the Prasar Bharati, this come to receive me. So I didn't realize it. I said, hi, Kamal Saab, how are you? How are you? You are here. So who is coming, sir? He said, Baba, you are coming. I said, yeah, I have come, but you have come to, yeah, I've come to pick you. I said, you come to pick me. Kamal Saab, what's wrong? I said, sir, you have traveled all the way 3 hours at the age of
Yeah.
85, and here you're going to go back with me for what I would have reached. And I was quite pissed off, actually. I said, this is no way. And then suddenly I started crying. I said, but why are you making me do this? And I became so emotional. I said, but you should not have done it. He said, no, no, no. And here my head was, in a different shape, and I was having high BP. But believe me, I don't remember. I passed out when in the car after 2, 3 more. Once I had cleared my, after my vomiting, and Mr. Kamath throughout this journey was only, doing, and I was just putting my head. When I reached there, I found myself in Kasturba Hospital, the medical college which you have there, the college student. And at 11 o'clock, I regained consciousness, and here I find Mr. Kamath is still sitting there with a drip in my hand, and I was crying. I said, sir, but you should go. No, 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 I'm okay. You are fine, Mukesh. Tomorrow we'll have this. You're okay. I said, okay. He doesn't have a Padma Bhushan, doesn't have to do all this, sir. So that made me realize that one has to be down to earth, and you can learn from these people, sir. I was lucky to have met such people in my career who actually at every stage they showed me light. This is how it is done. And in fact, this reminds me another interesting story, which will culminate in this, but that will also give you an idea as to how leadership evolves during
Definitely.
time.
Definitely. Definitely.
This is when in the 80s, when I was in Children's Film Society, I was also an actor in the sense I used to do plays.
Right.
And I had taken permission to do it, though I was working in a department, but they said as an extracurricular, but if you're earning anything, you're supposed to pay to the, I said, I'll do all that. Anyway, once I finished my rehearsals of the play in the television station in Mumbai, I came to know that the new director who has taken over, his name was Abdul Sattar Tatari, and he was from Lucknow, and I was very happy. I was quite excited. I said, I want to see him today. And I just rushed to his room, and here was his PA. He was a South Indian, I won't name him. And he said, sir, you are, I said, I'm Mukesh Sharma, Mr. Tatari. I know him, he's from Lucknow, so can I see him? And I was all excited. He said, no, no, you have an appointment. I said, no. He said, but how can you meet him without appointment? I said, you try and tell him that I'm here. He said, no, sir. No, sir, without appointment, I will not allow. And I was looking more like a chokra those days also. So he just made me sit there. I said, but please just check with him. He said, no, he's very busy. Whenever he's very busy. For 10 minutes, he just made me sit like that. Then I came out of it. And I came out of this room, and then I saw the next door, which directly opens in his room, because otherwise I was go through the PA. So I just put the handle down and opened it. I mean, here I found Mr. Tatari. He said, Mukesh, I said, sir. He said, but that fellow is saying, you're busy. Arey, he's a fool. You come. I said, but he made me sit for 10, 12, 15 years for no rhyme or reason. He said, no. Then we, of course, discussed family and this and that was okay. But after 20 years, the same Mukesh Sharma is now in the same place, and the same PA is there, and now I've come as a director. And he's there.
Excellent.
And he didn't recognize me at first. I said, hello, I'm so-and-so, so-and-so. You remember I came in the 80s, he was looking, I said, forget about it. Listen. First of all, you have a name, something outside was written to meet the director 3 to 4 p.m. timings. I said, remove that. First thing I want you to throw it out. I don't want that. And listen, Jenny, I don't know whether you remember or not, but I remember very clearly, I don't want any guy to sit there outside. Whether it is my office or private, just let them come, because what we are doing here is not something confidential. Everything is open to everyone. If there is anything, I'll let you know. But to me, I think I will work like this. Second thing, I said, I don't want to sit on the chair. What, sir? I said, I want to sit on the chair. Give me a standing tall, a plate with a tall stand, so that I work standing. I want, because I don't like sitting on the chair. It makes something people go, haywire. He was all shocked. He said, what? And third, I said, I don't want any person on the gates no security, no this and that. Anyone who wants to come, of course, you check it, but very politely we need to tell, because this is a place where artists come. This is a place where we are dealing with human. We are not dealing with commodities. And sir, it worked. A channel which was making about 5 crores Indian rupees, I made it push to 40 crores in 5 years' time. I
Oh,
got the
great.
best Kendra award from the Vice President of India. I mean, the entire Marathi channel in the country, it was number one. First time they were thinking, are you sure the government channel is working like that? I took all the shareholders' money in my channel. I said nothing doing with
Excellent.
like. But the
Excellent.
thing was, it's like unless you own something, unless you say it's my own, it's my work, which is I'm doing it from my home or from my house, then it works.
I think there are two lessons which I can think of. One is which I told in the introduction, the flexibility and the openness, which is there
Yes.
inbuilt in you.
Yeah.
Secondly, a leader should own what
Yes.
they are working with. Then it works well for everybody around. Dr. Sharma, you know, many a times in a leader, like you are a film director, you have worked as an actor, all of these things. So there are certain skills which you have. But is it essential to have such skills to become a leader, or leader can be even without such skills which are related to his area of work?
See, what happens is I feel the leadership comes out when you are in hot waters.
Okay.
And the people used to tell that the Mukesh Sharma is like a tea bag in a hot water. The more water is boiling, the more color will come out of him. He'll be able to deliver much better. And believe me, I used to enjoy when I was in troubled waters, because now I have to have a solution. And my mind is so fertile at that time that you can't imagine. I'm thinking of 10 things I can do it. And I used to deliver that way. So one of the reasons of your leadership coming out is also when you are in such areas, in troubled areas, where you have to immediately think and come out with solution, and a solution which can help everyone. So, which is sometimes God given, sometimes your own experience of things, sometimes, the way you have learned things. A lot of things do matter on that. So that tomorrow, if I have to, deliver anything and nobody's around, I can do it. And that is why one of the reasons that my channel became number one, because I knew what I'm doing. I knew my job. If an editor couldn't do, I said, telling you, oh, you go, you move. I'll sit down. I'll do it. If an actor is not there, I said, remove him. I'll write the script. I'll do it. Or I will try and do it. Don't worry about it. So I wanted to learn everything. And then also when you know everything, and when you know everything more like a master and not like a jack, then you are a better leader to deliver, because you can always there to support people.
So it's important that we acquire the skills in the areas where we work so that leader can show. It's like
Yes.
walk the talk. It's like you
Yes.
lead from the front.
Yes.
It is also possible when you get an opportunity, you can learn the skills provided you put in
why
that
not?
effort.
You learn from everyone. Even during my production time, I used to learn from my cameraman. I used to learn from my spot boy, from my music guy. Common sense also plays a very important role in this. You can't every time think of things which are out of the box all the time.
So you are saying that as a leader, we should be able to take a spot decision, and it comes out of your common sense and learning.
Yes. Because
All right.
every time you can't think out of the box for such situations. You have to adjust common sense.
Right. See, one of your mottos is being service to others and the society. And leaders in general, see, leaders are there in all areas of work, like in private sector, in public sector. How important a leader should consider service to the society as one of the pillars of their life?
If you see, sir, health is one area where you are doing service to society. If you are in the army, you are doing something to the society. Even if you are in business, you are doing something to the society. So if you see everywhere people are working, they are directly or indirectly doing something for the society. Now, how good or how bad they are doing is a question one can ask. In my case, how could I serve the society as a public broadcaster? So my first mantra was, am I serving the consumers or am I serving the citizens? Because if I'm serving the consumers, then I must have a programming which is as per their liking or as per their taste or whatever sells, I must try and make it. But if I'm doing for the citizens, then I have to have a disciplined programming, a programming which should be for all ages. I must be able to cater to say majority community. I could cater to the minority community. I could cater to the old man, senior citizens. I could cater to the child. Then I'm doing a public broadcasting. I must empower women. I must empower girl child. I must empower education. But this programming doesn't bring money, sir. So if you can do the best of both, you try and ensure that the basic thought is not lost, but you will package it and market it in such a fashion that it can be one shade better than the otherwise what programming people are doing, the commercial programming. And this worked for me, sir. Like these days, sir, I've started a channel where I'm telling the stories during these COVID times. In 3, 4, 5 minutes, I finished them. A person telling a story who is interested in listening to you, unless he is able to catch your attention,
Yes.
right? Unless your story is narrated in such a fashion that I don't give you a chance to just blink or go out till you see what happens. So there are only two strengths of my storytelling. One is the way I tell, one the story. So the content has to be strong always, whatever you do. That's why you find some of the good films, not you may not have big stars in it, but all that, but you find it, you always like them just for the simple reason that it has a strong story point.
Correct. It's engaging.
So the story in public service broadcasting has to be something which can connect with people. So I started during my time, sir. I started phone-in programs. Nobody was talking way back in 2000. Everyone said live phone-in program. Sharma, you want to take risk? What you are doing now? I mean, what people are doing now in streaming, I did it 20 years ago. And live with the people, common people, they said they will say anything. I said, don't worry, you have to have faith in your people. And it works, sir. So right from a Hello Sakhi, I used to name them Hello World every program. Now Hello Sakhi was for women, and 1 to 2 all the time. Any problem, whether legal or medical or this, they will come and you can talk to them on phone, online, and help you. Hello doctor, in the evening, anybody who wants to have any understanding, okay, you go there. Hello officer, a person from municipal corporation would come and help people out. So I was trying to serve people and ensuring that the public broadcasting, and I was making money on these programming. It is just not that this programming was there. It was
So
getting
you are
eyeballs for
saying
me.
that we should be able to connect with people, understand their mind, and then it becomes service to the society, because all of these
Yes.
programs are related to society. At the
Yes.
same time, you are also making money.
Yeah, because I was getting numbers for such. So the sponsor was there to give me the bottom line. No, bottom line was there.
Very nice. So do you feel leaders in public sector or government should have some skills which are specific to them so that they can come up in their leadership ladder?
Yes, I feel, because what has happened is in during my course during a civil service, I have seen all sorts of civil servants who are just, I would say, just give them something and they can go ahead. Civil servants will take time to understand things what they're doing, but just because he's a civil servant, he'll say no, what I'm saying is right, which I have never done it. I have never tried to say what I'm saying is the last word. No. If you can convince me and with me the team, go ahead, I'll take you and I will put it. So my motto in life was very simple: either I'll follow you, sir, or you follow. Then only we can go ahead, because there is no point arguing about it that this is right. Okay, I'll follow you. But if you fail, then you be prepared for the consequences. And if I fail, I'll be prepared. So what has happened? But in the government, there is nobody to take the responsibility of these things sometimes, even if they fail. In my case, I made it clear. I said, yes, if I'm wrong, you tell me wherever I'm wrong. So it so happened that I could manage to work out because I could take everyone together. In fact, I was more of a leader and less of a boss throughout my thing. And you must know the difference between the two.
Definitely,
There are
definitely.
so many things where a leader will say, no, he will command respect. In my case, a boss will command. In my case, I never commanded respect. Respect came on its own. So there were so many, things which could work out with the people, and that helped me, because I feel in the government service, people should not work like a boss. They should be more like leaders. Then things will fall in place.
So you are saying that you are one of those leaders who earn the respect rather than demand the respect.
Yes, yes. I would when I took over as I told you, the first thing I said, I don't want anyone to stand outside and wait and all that, because that was a great learning for me 20 years ago. But even while walking around, I was always in a suit and tie and everything speak, so that nothing about it. I said the whatever is here inside, that's more important. Just forget about it. But I would then pick up even a cigarette packet loitering in my premises, or even any paper or anything, and pocket. People would watch that. And that was indirectly, I was telling them, look, even a dog who sits in a place, he also cleans the place and sits. We are human beings. So don't throw things like that. Now, every time you tell them, write on the board, a notice board doesn't work. Cleanliness has to come from within. Once I started, they were there. So you have to set examples also every time. Sometimes you have to do it more prominently so that people who understand slate can also understand. everyone can understand immediately. It takes time for some people to
Definitely, definitely. So we have to show, and then
Yes.
people will follow.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you enjoy your leadership roles?
I was more of a, I would say, not exactly a leader. If you say, I was more of a team player every time. Leader, I was there when there was a problem. Then I would say, okay, I'll take a call and I'm responsible. But when we were playing together, I was one of the party. I never said that I want to take this credit for this. I don't know. When I used to do programs in television, huge, big shows, multi-camera setups, and we are booking a hall and about 3,000-4,000 people are sitting there and all top celebs are there. You will never find me sitting in the first row. Never with the even the Prime Minister is there. I will not sit unless protocol demands that the director has to. I would be running around all the time here and there and trying to ensure that there is no lapse in the programming. There is no gray area anywhere, and people still remember that. And then in fact, I remember even when I became Additional Director General. So a Major General from the Army was sitting there. So he said, he's an ADG. He said, you know what is the ADG in the Army? He's the rank of so and so. You think he'll be running about like this? He said, yes, but this guy is different. So these posts and positions, they come and they go. But actually, if you are a person who can deliver things, and if you know that this will help people, and if you are helping everyone, what is the harm in it? I say it that way. It's more of a human approach, nothing else.
Very nice, very nice. I think leadership is more of how you handle your position.
Yes.
It's more of doing things so that people will remember you for what you did.
Sir, today still people call me up to say they want this coverage. I said, look, I retired 4 years ago. What's wrong with you? He said, oh, we thought you are still there. So that is what I left behind.
Yes. Very nice, very nice. So if you have to give two advices to the youngsters who are aspiring leaders, what would that be to become better leaders?
The first thing, sir, is, which I hate, is the ego, what we call the ego.
Okay.
Edging God out, I will call it that. I am finding the youngsters of today, mostly, I would say, too much of ego. Too much of ego, and I don't know, too much of, they are not down to earth, they are not polite. What is the harm of being, what is the harm of saying, your watchman, good morning, how are you, Kaise ho? What is the problem in that? I fail to understand. That's why when I picked up telling stories, I picked up such stories only which may click with people and understand, look, it's not that because you have got so much, so you are wealthy and you have got so much of money. So no, it's not that. That's why they say when a tree is full of fruits, it bows down. What we call in Hindi, जब पेड़ फलों से लग जाता है तो झुक जाता है. So when you have got so much of knowledge, you need to be down to earth. But unfortunately, that is one thing they should throw that out before they start or embark on anything. Another thing, I think, once your ego is out, not only one, lot of things will follow. Let me tell you. It is the biggest culprit in anyone. I, me. This should not be there. It has to be we. It has to be us. It has to be all.
So you are suggesting that the youngsters should first get rid of their egos if you want to become a true leaders in the right sense, where you can get things done, where you can take the team along with you. It's going to be more of inclusiveness in your approach rather than I and you.
Me, myself. No, we don't need that.
So nice, Dr. Sharma, talking to you. It is very, very enlightening. And I'm sure with your approach, you will still serve the humanity around us for long, long time to come. And I think your leadership style, which I keep learning about this leadership style called servant leadership, which is a new concept which is in place. And I think you started practicing this much, much before the concept itself came into existence. It's not your position, it is your work what defines your position and your worth.
Second is, I've always promoted working backward rather than working forward.
Okay.
Place the goal in front, see the size of the goal, come back, see the ball size, so that everything is measured. You have one backward planning, and now you hit in one go, it should go. You don't have to say that I'll take one more chance.
Planning is based on the goal in front of us.
Yes. So it's always the backward planning which can take you forward.
Very nice, very nice. So thank you so much. I hope your stories, which is Kahaniyon Ka Anokha Andaz, I hope it will enlighten the generations to come, because they are
Yes.
simple, very nice, and your leadership skills will continue to serve the humanity. And wish you all the best, Dr. Sharma, and thank you so much for your time. It was really, really entertaining and enlightening, I would say.
Thank you,
So,
Tomji. You have been
and
you. In fact, you made me do all this. Think about it. See, your job is very important as an anchor. It's not easy to be an anchor, but you could bring out so many things from me. I also don't remember. Thank you so much for inviting me once again.
thank you.